something that you have to do for yourself.
Put your guns on! Put your guns on! Put your guns on!
Yeah, it's the Archivest, y'all. Exclusively interviewing Mr. Sherman Austin. And who is Sherman Austin?
Organizer, revolutionary hip-hop artist, musician. I try to put my music into my action as well, not just talk about things, but follow up with whatever it is I'm talking about through music in the streets. So.
And tell us about your new band and the ideas behind it.
Well, Cuauhtemoc is a band that was actually formed, this current version of the band was formed in 2004. And we're a mix of, hip-hop, a lot of hip-hop influence, punk influence, rock, I guess some metal. It's all different kinds of, angles coming together in one. But aside from just the music, all of us are actually organizers as well. And we try to take action on whatever it is that we're talking about in the streets. And we like to go out there in the community, whether it's, doing cop watch type of organizing, whether it's working with day laborers on the corner, whether it's, fighting back against all this racist immigration legislation that's going on in the streets. We all try to plug in to our own communities and fight, not just talk about it, not just play music, but to go out there and actually fight and do something about it.
And Raise the Fist, tell us more about your movement that you have accomplished, example, radio, publicity, etc.
Well, Raise the Fist was started when I was 16. I just decided one day to put up a website called raisethefist.com. And one thing kind of led to another. The site started getting some popularity, and then the feds didn't like that too much, so my house was surrounded by some 25 federal agents from the Los Angeles Joint Terror Task Force under the USA Patriot Act. Sum up a long story, make it short, I eventually spent a year in federal prison. Got out. By the way, that year was spent in federal prison under trumped up charges I was set up by the FBI. I was accused of writing some information about bomb-making material that some other kid wrote, and the FBI knew all this. It's all actually information that's in public documents. Well, I'm going to make them public. They're actually kind of private, but I'm going to make them public on raisethefist.com. But Raise the Fist is more of a direct action network of different individuals, organizations, collectives, affinity groups, whatever you want to call it, all coming together and trying to actually realizing that we have a common enemy, therefore we have a common, somewhat common solution, but a common goal. So trying to get everybody together and to realize that we have power in numbers and we got to move as one big network of people.
And tell us about getting your messages out there for the right reason, as you have a lot of a political following in Los Angeles.
Well, getting the messages out there is kind of difficult, especially when there's so much distractions. Everyone's into things that don't really have anything to do with the community, have nothing to do with actually building something positive in the community. So it's kind of hard to plug into the right things. So what we've tried to do is we're trying to just make the right things, make our own media. That's kind of one of the things I'm trying to work on with Raise the Fist is making our own radio. So we have Raise the Fist Radio, which is up 24/7, and it's right there in the community and right there in Compton. And we're trying to use our own means of resources to get the message out. At the same time, create this network of people we can work with to, shoot the message out all different angles whenever we need to get
And silence is defeat. Tell us more about your record and what kind of message and publicity receiving based on your history of the FBI.
Well, Silence is Defeat is a hip-hop album I released in 2007. It was actually largely inspired by that year I did in federal prison. I actually started working on it in prison, and that's kind of why, if you listen to it, the lyrics are the way they are. I was kind of doing hip-hop before I went to prison, but it wasn't really that serious. And once I went to prison, I kind of figured out I need to figure out a way to articulate everything that's going on, everything I'm feeling, and what it's like being here locked up in this cell 24 hours a day with no sunlight. So I'm trying to put a message out there to people, and it's not say straight up, it's not a nice message. I'm not trying to just talk about the bad shit that's going on, because we all know the bad shit that's going on. I'm also trying to talk about the action we need to take, the type of follow-up that needs to happen. And I'm all for protests. I'm all for peaceful actions. I'm all for that. But it takes a little bit. The album talks a little bit more about more direct approach, and more not such a nice approach. I guess I don't know what you want to call it, more militant approach. But I'm just trying to get a message out there and have people relate to it. And then once people are paying attention, try to get them plugged into some type of action and start to help build a movement.
And how's that been selling for you so far?
Pretty good, actually. I've stopped pushing it for a while, but I've realized that it's just kind of pushing itself, and it's getting a lot of sales in different parts of the country, which is cool.
And having plots of assassination attempts sent from different officials, finding out from informants about this, how did you survive from these situations?
I just kept my head up, really, and made sure my physical, I was healthy physically, healthy mentally, and just kept my head up, because you can't let that get to you. You got to be strong. It'll make you or break you. So.
And let us know what happened to you on regards of being locked up as a political prisoner, and Zach De La Roca coming out in support from Rage Against the Machine.
Well, when I was locked up, it was just everyday routine, work out, read, whatever. And Zach, good brother, he spoke on my behalf. A couple days before I went in, before I had to self-surrender, he spoke and did a really good speech about that. Kind of pretty much summed up a lot of what was going on and why it happened. And that went down in San Diego, and a lot of people came out, which is really good, because a lot of people come up to me who are fans of Rage Against the Machine, and they'll come up to me and they'll tell me, I know about your story. I saw Zach speak about your story, so it's really good to have people like that come out and support and get the word out. And
Put Your Guns Up, the next new single. Tell us about this new great message and the creation behind it.
The message is simple, put your guns up, don't be pushed around. You got to stand up for your rights, and you got to take back freedom by any means necessary. You can't wait for someone to come and give it to you. You got to take it back, and don't be afraid to resist, and don't be afraid to empower yourself to the level where we can create and build and start a revolution.
So tell us what you feel about a Barack Obama being elected in your country. Let's hear the truth with the power to the people.
Well, I'm not sure I'm the only one who thinks this, but it's obvious that, first of all, the entire democratic process in the United States is set up to be a political circus. It's not there for people to exercise their right to really vote. It's there for people to be distracted and keep them from what's really going on. And I think Barack Obama, whether or not he's really a progressive person or not, that's just completely irrelevant, because it's obvious that they put them in there for a strategic reason, and that was to get people to have faith in the political system again, because with all the stuff with Bush that was going on, everyone was losing faith in the system. Nobody was really about, let's go and vote for another president because they're all the same. They had to get a black person in there because, first of all, they can push that image as the first black president. Second of all, they can push that on the youth, because the youth weren't into politics. They weren't into having faith in the system. And third of all, it was a way for them just to completely flip the entire whatever you want to call it, democratic process or political machine, and make people think that, wait a minute, we can vote, we can go to the polling station and change this. That was the whole slogan, change, hope, and that was it. Let's go change the system. But in reality, nothing changed. First thing he did when he got in power is he bailed out these rich corporations, these rich fucking corporations who were responsible for the whole recession in the first place. And it's really just oppression, but this whole recession in the first place, he went and gave them all their money, and now he's sending even more troops to Afghanistan, and people aren't even like fired up about it like they were with Bush, because he's a black president. It's change, it's hope, and that's how the political system does it. They know what they're doing. They're masters at trickery. They're masters at deceiving people, and that's the way it's always going to be. It has to be completely 100% destroyed if we're ever going to get change.
And the history of Under the Volcano Festival, what's your thoughts on the event and the struggle behind it?
I think it's a great event, especially 20 years, because that's a long time and it takes a lot of work even to do it 1 year. And it's crazy that this is the last one, but I think something good is going to come out of it, because 20 years, that's, there's a whole new generation coming up now of freedom fighters and revolutionaries and people who are trying to reach out for change and social justice and things like that. So I think something else is probably to come out of this. There's just way too many people here for everything to die. These types of festivals should just die, and it's good to be here, because things like this, I don't see things like this really happen back at home. We have more of like mainstream festivals, and if it's anything near political, it's more of like mainstream political, nicey nice, Democratic Party, charity. There's no real solidarity. It's mainly just charity. So it's good to be here.
And tell us, what can we expect off your new project?
Some more tracks, more militancy in the hip hop, more militancy in the language. I'm working with some new beats, probably collaborate with some more people. And I don't know, that's why I like to keep it. Like, I kind of don't want to know exactly what I'm going to do, but do it as I'm doing it.
Run up in the house, like an AR-15 screaming, freedom to the death zone, feel my red, black, green, revolt. Jumped in the flesh, y'all fools on a pink out. With my best, don't rest till we down the ride. I'm Malcolm back alive, from the window with the carbine. Which fool wanna pay the price? Justice till we all die like slaves. Walk to the front line. Hit him with a plow, look him out, mouth off the news. Step down with the hooroo, down and shoot. Get with it if you really wanna ride with my crew. My troops 24 food, they toss so move the death of a president. Hell yeah, I said it, don't regret it. Throw that truth before I wreck it. God test the rage of a people's war. Think I'll hate to give you more. I'm tired of it, everything changed. Don't want no ring, don't want no ring, don't want a string. Takes more than